All right. All right. Welcome, Joe. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. So I'm gonna ask. We'll keep it loose. We'll keep it fun. Ask a few questions. If at any point you have something you want to talk about, we'll dive into that too. All right.
Heck yeah.
All right. So the first question is, how long have you been treasure hunting?
Um, I think I'm going on year 10 or so. It's like 2015 is when I started Fen. But I don't think I did my first like boots on the ground for a year or two, maybe. So it was definitely the first couple of years of reading and internet sleuthing and researching every godforsaken thing in the book for Finn, and then then finally getting the confidence to go boots on the ground and like be like, ah, yeah, I have a solve and it might be something, and it obviously wasn't, but yeah.
I think that's an important part that many people gloss over is getting the confidence, right? And some people their threshold, their bar for where that is, can vary. But I think that's a very important point.
Yeah, and it's like a little bit of like an internal thing, right? Because you start second guessing your solve, and you start second guessing, well, does this really mean this? And I would only encourage people at this point just to, especially if it's a spot nearby, like just go out there and explore and see if things connect while you're there in person, because it looks a lot different when from behind the screen versus being there in person. So even if you aren't confident, like sometimes it's worth it just to go out there and have a good day.
I like that answer. Okay, next is well, kind of similar vein. When did you first hear about JCB's There's Treasure Inside?
It was a couple years ago. I saw like some random like what not in the like main news or anything. It was like some random news story or some random tidbit about how some guy from the Fen Search was going to be putting on a treasure hunt in a couple of years, and he was writing a book and stuff like that. And so I think that was the first kind of wisp, and then things started heating up a lot more in 2024 when he started, doing his press release stuff. So
Okay, so you kind of had your ear to the ground, your eyes on this thing for quite a while.
not on purpose. I think it was by accident. I was sleuthing, some Discord or something about treasure hunts, because I do some treasure hunting locally here in
Right.
Colorado and Wyoming and Montana area and stuff. So I kind of have my ear to the ground a little bit, but like, yeah, that one I didn't know who John was. I didn't know anybody from Fen, the Fen Search. I was kind of a lurker in the background kind of thing. So I didn't know who he was. I just, read that little tidbit saying that, some guy from the Fen Search was going to put on his own treasure hunt. And I was like, oh, well, sign me up whenever that happens.
Nice. Okay, next one is, do you consider yourself a solo hunter, or are you part of a team, or have you been part of a team? How do you respond to that one?
Oh, uh, we are trying something new.
Ooh.
So, yes, there is a team out there that exists. And yeah, we're trying something new with this. So, um, it's it's a group, yeah, it's a team,
A collaborative effort?
a collaborative effort, yes, and
Okay.
yeah.
But maybe not team in the traditional sense, if what you're saying is say something new.
Um, yeah, so a typical team has a leader, and they, especially in treasure hunting, there's probably some contractual agreement, that
Hmm.
those words keep on getting thrown around with people wanting to share their solves and stuff. And a couple of us had this crazy idea to kind of half integrate like a DAO system, an anonymous organization where everybody is kind of the group lead, and we make group decisions and that kind of stuff. And then you kind of break that out with how everyone, has this level of trust with everyone. and so we go treasure hunting together.
Okay.
And all
For
together.
those in the audience who may not know what DAO stands for.
Um, it's a crypto thing that usually
Okay.
requires like a blockchain and technology. We obviously, this is a treasure hunt. We have a book, so we don't have any of that. But it's just it's a way to self-organize
Okay.
into a kind of self-leading group, or where a group is all together. It just stands for Decentralized Anonymous Organization.
Okay. It sounds very
Anonymous.
organic, which I like. Less
Very.
contracts and compartmentalization, specialization, and more organic, which I like that.
Yeah. Very, very, very organic. And yeah, you can kind of think of it, the folks who went and had a giant quest to go destroy a certain particular ring, and they all had to come into kind of a general accords together. So something like that.
Familiar with that tale.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Okay, next question we got is, and this one, feel free to say skip or pass. If you are willing to share some of your approach or methodology to your solve, I won't ask for your team, but your particular way that you approach solves and solutions. Is there anything that you can share with the wider audience if you're willing? Nothing specific if you don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah. Every treasure hunt, I kind of take the same system. And JCB definitely, John definitely puts it in his book there for everybody to read. But just to kind of reiterate that, letting the clues fall into place is probably like the one step that I try to inject every single time that I like discover something, or think that I discover something, or try a new methodology, and it's like, it seems like it's kind of working or something. I always kind of stop for a second and ask myself, like, did I let these clues fall into place, or am I making some reaches? Am I making some connections that aren't there? Am I interpreting things because I'm biased towards whatever I'm researching right now, kind of thing. So yeah, I think, just for general kind of treasure hunting and getting to that confidence in the boots on the ground, really digging into your research, and then right when you think that you've discovered something or you're onto a new methodology, just kind of taking a step back and being like, did I let everything fall into place here, or am I forcing a square thing into a triangle hole, kind of thing?
I think that that makes sense. I wish I could have the discipline sometimes to always. I think my goal is a very similar way, but sometimes I just find myself in those biases, and it's
You
so
get
hard to
so
take out.
excited, right? Like
Yeah.
you discover something and it like works out, and you're like, oh my God, yes, yes, yes. And then you don't realize it, and you're 3 hours down this rabbit hole, and then you discover that one thing that you like messed up on the first step or something. You're like, damn it.
3 hours, you're good. I find I'm 3 days later in that
Yeah,
same
3 days.
rabbit
Yeah.
hole. Then
I was
then I
trying to
wake
be
up.
conservative, and how obsessed are we?
Right. Okay. So moving along, for this particular hunt, I know you've been for other ones, but have you been boots on the ground for There's Treasure Inside?
I have, yep, for a couple of boxes.
Okay, couple boxes, nice. If you can tell us what's been, I would say, which boots on the ground experience was a highlight, and why, if you're able to, like, what's been your most rewarding, or most something that really stuck out or you enjoyed about it?
Past and future for California, for sure.
And what made that so special for you?
So that was my first solve that I've ever done, where I took basically a whole day of driving to get out to the location. So a
Oh, okay,
19-hour road trip.
nice.
And I yep, in winter, in December even. So definitely with all of that along the way. I live in Colorado, so getting to California, you go across some very snowy states and passes and stuff like that. So yeah, just getting to that point and getting excited, and then actually, driving out there, you're 10 hours into a road trip, and you're like, oh my God, am I doing this? I'm actually doing this. And yeah, and then myself getting out to my spot, and for me, it was a confidence builder. So I knew that I wasn't probably in the exact right spot. Like some of the things I know got me here, but weren't quite lining up as this exact spot. But um, the lining up as I was getting to the spot, as I was driving to the trail or whatever, it was kept on seeing those signs that I was like, yep, is this confidence building or is this confirmation bias kind of stuff, right?
Mhm.
And I think I decided within a day or two of getting out there that it wasn't confirmation bias, but I hadn't figured out maybe as much as I thought that I had. I knew I was climbing the right tree per se, but maybe I was off by like 5 trees or something like that. So,
Okay.
yeah, it that inspired me to then turn around and go back out like 2 weeks later. Like I drove
Same
back.
area, a little bit different area.
Yeah, no, yep, the same area.
Okay.
And as you know, like, when you're picking spots for solves, especially with this one where it kind of, seems the forest green and nature and all that kind of stuff, right? Some of those trail systems in California and all along the kind of western range there, you pick one spot, but like that one spot can be pretty big and there's lots of different trailheads or lots of different areas where you can kind of enter the same spot. So yeah,
It's beautiful, but very expansive.
very expansive. Yeah, and you think it's much smaller on your Google Maps or something, and then you're driving out there and you're like, oh yeah, the next trailhead is just around the next curve or something, and then 20 miles later you're like, okay, well I am technically in the same area because I got back to the area, but I had to drive all the way out and then back in because that's where the roads actually go. So
So that was one of your highlights. What about how do I want to phrase this? Not a low point, but was there any really difficult experiences you had, whether it be weather, whether it have any kind of perilous trails, any kind of difficulties you had out there?
yeah, the first week, the first time that I went out there, that first couple of days, I did not check any of the weather.
Mm.
I got really confident in myself. Was like, I'm getting in my car and driving 19 hours and 20 hours, 22 hours, something like that. I don't know. And didn't check the weather. And along the way, I got into 2 blizzards
Oh,
where trucks were sliding out in front of me, like semi trucks were sliding out in front of me on the highway. The famous Lake Tahoe pass was
uh-huh.
closed. I had to sit there and wait for like 30 minutes to go over the pass. And then I still had a long ass road trip after that to get to my spot. So yeah, it was a little demoralizing the first time because it almost seemed like the weather was there like, nope, you're not gonna go. Nope, I'm gonna put a blizzard in front of you. Nope, I'm gonna put a giant, snowstorm on top of a peak in front of you. So it was, but it was took a couple hours off in Tahoe when I got stuck there and reread the book and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a little demoralizing, but at the same time, it was like kind of giving me a little bit of strength of like I can persevere. Like this is just a little bit of weather kind of thing.
That was my
Um,
question about when you had to stop in Tahoe. Was it in my mind? Were you like on the road, pull off to a shoulder, or did you like pull into a gas station? Like, how did you kill the time while you waited for the pass to open up?
Yeah, so right there in wherever that passes in Tahoe, they've got like a nice little area. Like they close it down several times
Okay.
every winter or whatever. So they got a nice little area to pull off to the side of. And I got there like they had closed down the road like 30 seconds or a minute before. Like if I had just been going a little faster, I could have like I totally have a snow capable vehicle. I would have plowed right through, but yeah, just barely missed it. So yeah, I mean, I kind of took it as like I'll just go sit here and review, but I mean, there's definitely some thoughts in there during those couple hours where I was like, should I just turn around? I still got a lot of hours left on my road trip, and it's I can just turn around. It's not that far to go back. Maybe I missed something, and
Yeah.
yeah. And then the road
Nope.
opened up, and I was like, forget that, I'm going.
Those are the great moments of perseverance, though, that make it all worth it in the end.
Yeah.
Here's a fun question. So let's play a little game where you find a box. Let's pick the past and the future box. And what is there any goals or anything fun you want to do with the treasure? What items do you see yourself keeping? What items do you see yourself selling? you given any thought?
Um, well, I don't know what treasure is inside of the past and
Mhm.
future box. Um, but there's some theories out there. I agree with some of them. I think that, or I guess, let me back up 2 seconds. The past and future box is the main box that I'm going for, and that's because I believe uh, the moon rock is in that one, and
Mhm.
that's the one treasure that I really want out of probably most of it. I mean, there's probably something else in
It looks
there.
very cool. It's got a great story, the
Yeah,
Moonrock.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. For the story, not so much for the money kind of business. And I don't know what I would do with it. I'm not very much of a collector, but I think that that would turn me into one.
You have a spot on your house picked? Are you a desk guy? You got a mantle? You got a fireplace? Put it over? Where you see yourself putting the
I
Moonrock?
I think that if I get, if I was able to find the past and future box and that was it, that was in that box, I would have to do something special. Like I would have to like build the shelf, like go get some cool looking wood, build the shelf myself, put it up on the wall in a very specific space, and then and then put it out there for bragging rights for anybody who comes over. But and then myself, whenever I get, quote unquote get to work in the morning, I can sit there and look at it longingly and be like, I did that. I
I
don't I
did
don't know
that.
if it has much use out beyond that
I mean, that's like the
though.
ultimate like conversation starter. Someone comes in, hey, welcome. Here's have I told you about my Moonrock?
This came from space.
Yeah, and now it's in my living room. All right. So, is there any this part's kind of a little more less structured, a little bit of free flow here. Is there any do you have any social media? Do you have any blogs or websites that you share your experience you want to direct people to?
Not that I want to direct people. I mean, I am writing a blog very slowly because I'm trying not to reveal things and
Okay.
too much of solves, and definitely learn some hard lessons in the past and stuff like that. So it is coming out slowly. I'm not. I usually put it out in the Discord servers, so Mysterious Writings and Calazars and stuff like that, and so I'll be doing that. And anybody that wants to can keep watch on it, but it's
Okay.
not made
Well,
for
would it be
people.
okay if I get the link from you? I can put it in the comments or description for this video.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, and
I
that way,
can
if
do that.
anybody wants to slowly go along your journey, they'll be able
Yep.
to read as you reveal. I think I've seen some. You've put a few updates out, correct?
Yeah, yeah. I've gone through the first two, almost through the second boots on the ground experience. So I've been 3 times for the past and future box. And in the blog would be the first 2 times, and I'm kind of on my last few days of the second time there. So, and then I just got back a couple weeks ago from the third time.
Okay, we'll definitely put that up, and recommend anybody watching it who has never been boots on the ground, and you want to see what it's like. I think it'd be great to get a perspective, and Joe gives a really well written perspective. I read his at least his first two posts up there, so I think that I recommend people check that out, and then people who maybe you're a boots on the ground expert, but you want to know a little bit more about this box, maybe reading a few of his blogs might give you some insights. I'll put that little plug there.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it is definitely trending towards boots on the ground. So I'm not
Yeah.
putting things around like my solve or how I got there. It's mostly hopefully decent pictures that I take in my area. And I clear out geotags and stuff like that, so you can look all you want. You're not finding this spot.
Well, you know people are gonna try. You know they're
They
still
already
gonna
have.
try.
Yes. Yeah, they already have. They've notified me. They're like, you put stuff in there, you left stuff in there. And I was like, I didn't leave anything in there that I didn't want to. So,
All right. Well, we're wrapping it up here. I do want to say thank you, Joe. You're my first guest, so you have the honor. You'll
whoa.
always have that honor of being the
Oh my
very
God.
first one.
Thank you.
But
I
yeah,
am
I think we
honored.
had a good time. Any closing thoughts you have?
Thank you for everything that you speak about. And some of your solves, man. You have a good brain, sir. So there you go.
See, I tell people the trick is it's like a high end computer. It needs cooling. So I chose the to go the no hair route. That way, the brain housing, is air cooled.
Most efficient. There you go.
Yeah, most
Get that.
efficient.
Yep.
All right, man. Well, thanks again for coming on. I hope you have a good night, and I hope you find a box. I really do.
I hope all of us find at least one of these boxes for sure. Thank you.
All right, take care, man.
Thanks. See you, bud.
Now listen, all you treasure hunters, searching all around for plunder. Do you need some help to be your best? There's something that you're trying to find, but you're about to lose your mind. So come on, listen in to Estes Quest. Estes Quest, the show where he'll be sharing clues. Estes Quest will chase away your searcher's blues. He's solving puzzles with a smile. He'll help your theories pass the trial. He's welcoming you here to be his guest. Now listen close and you'll be told the clues to where he's hiding gold. So come on, listen in to Estes Quest. Come on.